Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Kathleen Henderson here for day 2 of Master Your Metabolism. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday we got started and we talked a little bit about tea and adding essential oils to our tea. Today we are going to talk about a couple of different things, but another hot beverage. This one we're calling the Cacao Latte. Hey Lauren! You get to hear about the latte you were asking about. Hi, Paige. Happy Tuesday, everybody. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these ingredients and a couple of variations on this recipe and some of the benefits. And before I jump into all of that, I just want to talk about caffeine, I guess, because my version here of the Cacao Latte is decaf, non-caffeinated. Lauren is excited for this recipe. So I hope you saw that the recipe has been posted in our public education group all day, although I do have some variations to share, like I just said. But anyway, for me, so caffeine is kind of controversial, right? So some of you probably love your morning cup of coffee, or maybe you do several cups of coffee throughout the day. And some of you might be avoiding caffeine for different reasons. So I thought I would just talk a little bit about that and my own experience. I don't know, it feels a little unusual for me to be talking about all of this real food stuff and nutrition stuff here in our oils group for oils education, but this is what I do on my blog. Talk a lot about nutrition and real food and all of those sorts of things. So I'm kind of excited to marry the two topics today. But I don't know if you know that I have Hashimoto's thyroid disease, and so I noticed, let's see, when my middle guy, who is currently 8, when he was a baby and I was going through all of those nights and days of sleep deprivation, I became dependent on caffeine. I had to have coffee every morning, and over time we started to realize that it was messing with my thyroid. I started to notice, I was caught in this cycle to where I was dependent on the caffeine, but we began to figure out that the caffeine was, it was not a good thing for my health and for my body. So it actually happened that I actually don't even know how to make coffee. My husband is the coffee guy, and he still drinks regular coffee, but he was gone for a few days, and I just didn't have the time and didn't take the time to make coffee, and that was when we started putting it together. I felt so much better during those few days when I wasn't drinking any coffee. Even though I still felt tired, I definitely still felt the sleep deprivation, but it was, I don't even know how to describe it. We could just tell it was impacting my mood. It was really running me down. And as soon as I figured that out and stopped, cut the caffeine out, my health improved. I was also doing other things. Hi, Kathy. I was doing other things at the same time to improve my health. But at any rate, for me, caffeine is not a good fit. So I am completely caffeine free. I do not drink any caffeine at all. And so I went for a time without any morning cup of anything. I would just drink tea, just herbal decaf tea, which was fine, but I really missed the taste. I also love to drink coffee or have something coffee flavored, like with dessert, or when I'm out on a date with my husband, or if you're at a friend's house for dinner. So morning, getting the day started, and then on special occasions or with something sweet. So I started to look into this thing that I had heard of called Dandy Blend, and I tried it, and for me it's been an awesome substitute for caffeine. So this, if you haven't heard of it, Dandy Blend is a special mix of roasted ground dandelion root and chicory root, roasted ground chicory root, and I think a few other ingredients, but it's completely caffeine free. It's considered an herbal beverage, and it, for me, tastes like coffee. So, but I do want to point out that I didn't go straight from coffee right to the Dandy Blend. So if you decide to ditch your coffee and go and substitute Dandy Blend instead, you might notice a taste difference. I tell people, for me, it tastes just like coffee. It satisfies that need for that kind of bitter coffee taste. But again, I didn't go right from coffee to Dandy Blend, so you might notice a difference if you do that. Hey, Katie. So Dandy Blend, I love. I drink it every morning. Just Dandy Blend mixed into my coffee. It will remind you of instant coffee because it's a dark powder that you put in your cup and then you add hot water and you mix it. But it does not taste like instant coffee, and it's definitely much better for your health than instant coffee. And actually, if you're curious to learn more about Dandy Blend and the benefits and all of that, I actually have a whole blog post on my blog at yankeehomestead.com. I think it's called Dandelion Root Coffee Substitute. So more details there. But so I start my day every morning with this. Now, what we're going to talk about today is kind of an amped up version, a healthy, this is keto, this is paleo, and it is decaf. So if you're avoiding caffeine, and I do want to tell you that if you have issues with your thyroid, I recommend really considering your caffeine intake and if necessary making some adjustments because it really made a big difference for me. So anyway, so this, what I'm drinking right now, is the Cacao Latte. The recipe was posted in our group right here earlier, so you can go find that after the video. But if you've heard of Bulletproof coffee, this is sort of the decaf, dairy-free version of Bulletproof coffee. So Bulletproof coffee is another recipe that's there for you. If you like your caffeine and you're positive that caffeine does not have a negative impact on your health, then go for it. Bulletproof coffee is regular coffee with butter added, like a good source, high quality, I would say like from a good farm. This is not any old butter that you just pick up at the grocery store, but find butter from a good source, and you're going to add that instead of creamer, because I'm sure you know that creamers are filled with lots of what at my house we call food-like substances. They are not really things that you want to be ingesting on a regular basis. So for Bulletproof coffee, you're adding butter and you're adding MCT oil, which I have to say, I'm not a huge expert on this, but it's been on my radar for a long time. And this was a great opportunity for me to start experimenting with it and adding it into a daily beverage for myself. And then many times Bulletproof coffee contains some sort of like protein powder, or I'm not a big fan of protein powder, so I didn't add that to mine, but a good source of collagen or gelatin. So this, I have a disclaimer about this too. Vital Proteins, if you can read that, is a great brand. I'll post links for, how about if I post links for you guys to all these things that I'm mentioning. I'll post a link to my blog post about Dandy Blend. I'll post purchasing links where you can read more about the collagen, gelatin, and the MCT oil, and the coconut milk, and all of these things. Because some of you, I know, you are totally tracking with me, you know what I'm talking about, but for some of you, I know this is very new. Some of these ingredients might seem very foreign to you. So you want, again, we're using some kind of coffee or Dandy Blend, and then we're adding butter, or for the dairy-free version, you can add ghee, which is, if you don't know what ghee is, it starts out as butter, but the, like, I don't even know how to describe it exactly, but it's separated out. So the part that people have trouble with, the dairy part, is separated out, and you're left with the part that you should be able to tolerate. And so you can use ghee and still be dairy-free. So you're going to add ghee and or MCT oil. I don't do ghee at all, so I just add the MCT oil, and then you're going to add some sort of protein or gelatin or collagen. And then you want to use some kind of, if you want to make it a latte, you add some sort of alternative milk, again, if you're going for dairy-free. So coconut milk is a great option. That's what I use today. We're also, later this week, going to be talking about nut milk. I make my own almond milk. It's super simple to do that. I'm not a big fan of the almond milks that you can buy because they have some additives in them that I would prefer to avoid. So it's so easy, y'all, to just from almonds and water make your own almond milk, and you can add some dates or a little bit of honey or vanilla. Kathy is saying she loves Dandy Blend. It's what she uses in her Bulletproof drink. Yes, I love my Dandy Blend. I drink it every day, at least 1 or 2 cups. So anyway, in this cacao latte, I'll tell you what I used. I used Dandy Blend. You mix this up in the blender. So Dandy Blend, I just kind of measure it out by, instinct. I have a little spoon that I use for it every morning, and I just kind of measure out 3 little spoons. It was probably about 4 teaspoons of Dandy Blend, and then a cup and a half of water, and then a full can of coconut milk. Also, if you're new to coconut milk, make sure to get the full fat, just the regular kind. Do not get the light kind. You don't want that kind. And then a scoop, which is a tablespoon of gelatin or collagen. And then, what was this? I think a teaspoon of MCT oil. And it's a forgiving recipe. It's kind of a loose guide, so you can play around with it as you experiment. And it's not like there's an exact way to make this, but these are kind of approximate amounts. And then today for our recipe, I added just 1 drop of turmeric and 1 drop of cinnamon, and I wasn't sure what I would think about that flavor, but it's really nice. I really like it. And then cacao powder, and I don't know if you can see that. I'm having a hard time seeing the bottom of my screen, and I don't want to lift this up, but I don't have the bag because I keep my powders and things in canisters here. But I added 1 tablespoon of cacao powder, and then you just blend that up in the blender and then heat up. It makes more than you'll probably need for 1 serving, so you can keep the rest in a jar and just heat it up as needed. So that's the cacao latte, and I will post links for all of those things later. And I did want to just talk a little bit about this drink and say, if you are, it's January, we're focusing on mastering our metabolism. For some of us, that means we're trying to lose some weight. For some of us, it means we just want to get back into healthy patterns. A big part of that, obviously, is what we are nourishing our body with throughout the day. So I just wanted to encourage everybody that, I wanted to encourage everybody to think of it as, instead of thinking of it as depriving yourself of certain things, or like you can't have certain things, whether you need to get off caffeine and you know that, it's different to look at it as, oh, I can't have caffeine, I can't drink coffee anymore, or I can't, certain foods, I shouldn't be eating those, I need to avoid those. But look at it more along the lines of, what can you do to nourish your body? What can you eat? What nourishing foods or drinks can you add? And if you look at it that way, then you don't feel so deprived, and I think you'll find yourself having greater success in sticking to your new healthy habits. So this kind of a drink is a great way to replace some of the things that you maybe need to get rid of from your diet. So if coffee is an issue for you and you need to replace that, this is an awesome alternative. Or for me, I often just do my Dandy Blend straight, and that does it for me. But if you're looking for a way to really nourish your body, and I'm excited to experiment with this, try adding the collagen or gelatin and the MCT oil. The collagen is going to help you feel full longer. It's going to actually give you some nourishment for your body. It is the same concept as bone broth. It's very nourishing to the gut. It helps to heal digestive and gut issues, and it will give you a feeling of fullness, which is not, if you drink coffee, that's not true when you drink coffee. And the MCT oil is a healthy fat, and if you're adding butter or ghee, that's a healthy fat. This is going to help your body feel nourished and satisfied longer. So if this would be helpful for you to get your day started off right, if it's hard for you to get into a good breakfast routine, or if you know you need to ditch caffeine, this might be something that you want to work into your morning routine. If you struggle in the afternoon and you kind of need a pick-me-up or something to look forward to, or you tend to get the munchies or whatever, this might be a great thing to add into your afternoon routine. And the cool thing about this recipe is that you can mix it up. It will store well in the refrigerator for at least several days. So you can blend up a big batch and keep it in a jar or a bottle in your refrigerator, and it's so easy to just pour some out in the afternoon. I know we have a lot of busy moms, busy working professionals. Just heat it up, pour it into your mug, and you've got basically a snack in a drink form to get you over that afternoon hump. Again, the collagen gelatin and the MCT oil, the butter, the ghee, those healthy fats are going to help you feel full and nourished. And since you're adding some flavors and the chocolate flavor, it gives you, it tastes good. It's something that you can look forward to. And if it's not sweet enough for you, it's not really a sweet drink, the cinnamon and the turmeric and the cacao powder should help. with the flavor. But if you need some sweetness, you know, it's okay to add a drop or two of stevia, or we like to use raw local honey at my house, a little drizzle of honey, and maybe if you need to wean yourself off the sweetener, you know, just experiment with it. And again, instead of looking at it as looking at the things that you can't have or you should be avoiding, try to flip that around and look at the things that you can add. What are the things that will nourish your body? So that's our Facebook Live for today's Master Your Metabolism, our cacao latte. I would love to hear if anyone has tried any of these recipes, the cacao latte or the bulletproof coffee. There was another third recipe offered there if neither of those are your jam. Share some comments and let us know what you're trying and what you're liking and what variation is working well for you, okay? And I hope everybody is tracking with your goals, your hydration goals and your movement goals and all of those goals that we set for this week. So happy rest of the Tuesday afternoon to you. And remember, I'm going live every day this week, so tomorrow it will probably be in the afternoon again. I think probably around 3 o'clock tomorrow for tomorrow's Facebook Live. So just stay tuned to all of our Master Your Metabolism posts and stay in the loop about all of our current happenings. Okay? Happy oiling, everybody. I'm going to go finish my cacao latte, and I hope you'll be inspired to try it too.